Hello everyone, I am Attila. I am a computer science student and I will be sharing my journey of learning, building and experimenting with coding and AI. In this channel you will find my tutorials on building things from scratch like GPT models, my experiments and coding projects, and even my vlogs about student life and my learning progress. I will be documenting my whole path as we go on this channel so you can learn alongside me. Please subscribe, and if you're interested, let's start building together. So in this tutorial in particular, we will be building a tiny GPT model entirely from scratch. This model will be trained on a certain set of data that we have given it, and then it will later be able to make predictions based on the data that we have trained it on. For example, in our case, we will be building a Shakespeare text generator. For example, we will give it some previous text of Shakespeare, and later when we provide it with a sentence, the model will be able to finish the sentence by using the text we have provided. So it will complete the sentence in the style of Shakespeare, and even if we give it a single sentence, it will be able to turn that sentence into an entire poem in Shakespeare style. So let's begin. The first step you need to do is install Python on our machine. In order to do so, you can head over to the python.org website, hover over the downloads, choose which machine you're on, and install Python from here, the latest version. Once you do so, you will be able to open a new file to install Python, and since I have it already installed, it might look a little bit different on mine than yours, but it shouldn't be that complicated. You will just see a option to install, and on the bottom you will see a button to add to path. Make sure you click on that button and enable it, as that will be really important later on. Once you have your Python installed, if you want to check it, you can head over to command prompt and just type out Python version. Once you see the Python version you have installed, that means you have successfully installed Python on your machine. We are now ready to head over to the next step. So for the second step, we'll create a project folder on the desktop where we'll keep all our files. So in order to do this, you can head over to a command prompt, you can type cd desktop, make directory, you can then put the name of the project you want. We'll call it LLM project. Once you have made the directory for it, we will head over to that project, cd LLM project. And yeah, there we should go. Now we're inside our project folder called LLM project, and this is the second step. So for the next step, we will need to use a virtual environment to separate all our libraries from the rest of the system. In order to do this, you can simply type out python -m virtual environment .virtual environment, and you have now created your virtual environment, and in order to activate it, you can just type out .virtual environment capital letter script /activate. Once you do this, you should see a virtual environment at the beginning of your command line. This basically means that your environment is now active. Next, we have to install the Python packages that we'll be using inside our code. For example, we'll use PyTorch, sentence piece, numpy, and etc. In order to do this, you can head over to the command prompt and just type out pip install, then the packages you need to install, such as torch, sentence piece, numpy, and tqdm. Once you do this, you should see the progress bars to install. And now we can move over to the next step once the installation is complete. Now that our Python environment is set up, we can now work on training our language model. In order to train our language model, we first need to provide it with a dataset to train on. And for this particular tutorial, we'll be using Shakespeare's previous texts. And the link for this will be provided in the description below. So what you can do is make directory data, make directory data /raw, and then using the link I have provided in the description, all you have to do is copy and paste this link, and basically this will install some of the previous texts of Shakespeare into a dataset, and we will later be using these texts to train our language model. And that's it for part 1. We have installed Python, set up our project folder with a virtual environment, installed the dependencies, and downloaded our dataset. In the next video, we'll be focusing on writing the Python code for our GPT model step by step, and then later we'll train it to generate the text in another video. If you found this helpful, don't forget to like and subscribe, and let's keep building together.